is Modern Storage Unpacked. Let's go.
Welcome back to Modern Storage Unpacked. Today, we're going to be going behind the scenes and taking a look at how Modern Storage's brand new facility, Riverdale, came together. We are joined today with Melissa from Central States, practically our neighbors at our Lowell location, one of the biggest names in the steel, doors, and hallway systems industry within self-storage. From the first panel to the final screw, we're unpacking today what goes into building our doors and hallways with Modern Storage Riverdale. So, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the invitation to be on your podcast. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're honored as well. Our Riverdale location absolutely wouldn't be what it is without you guys. So we're excited to bring y'all on and kind of share a little look into that and what you guys do. So for our listeners who may not know who you are, can you tell us who Central States is and what y'all specialize in?
Yeah, absolutely. Central States is one of the leading manufacturers of really steel building products. Obviously, doors and hallways is a huge part of that.
Yes.
And storage is a huge part of it, but we do everything. We do roofing and siding, full buildings, giant metal frames, and then, of course, roll-up doors and hallway systems.
Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all have expanded out a little bit. That's a lot more than I even knew. How long have you guys been in the business of manufacturing hallways and doors?
So storage has been a huge part of our business, even like starting when our business started in the 1980s. We've been headquartered right there in Northwest Arkansas, again, basically neighbors.
Yeah.
But we started there in the late 80s and we've been there for a long time. Storage has been a huge part of it. However, this particular new door and hallway line, we just launched a couple of years ago, and it's been a huge deal. It's the Sentry line of door and hallway products.
Amazing.
And it's specifically made for self-storage, and it's been really, really well received.
What sets your products apart from others in the industry?
I really think there's a few different things. The biggest thing really is people. That's really been Central States from the very beginning. The foundation, they're a customer-first business. Their desire has been to give a customer-first experience where people are willing to go above and beyond for the customer. A huge part of that is the fact that we're a 100% employee-owned company.
Love that, yes.
And because of that, it actually really changes the culture of your company. People are willing to do whatever is necessary because they're all business owners. So it's the very first 100% employee-owned company I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
And the difference in the internal culture is astounding. Everybody feels they have ownership over what happens. They work like owners, and they're willing to do whatever they have to do to help customers be successful. The other thing is we have some of the highest specs for our steel quality. So that's in thicknesses and grades. And that foundational material, it is hugely important in the long-term performance, right?
Yes.
Of the actual product. And then the last thing I would say is really the fact that the people that we have working in our plants, the people actually making the product, and it's just excellence of people and excellence of product, excellence of process, and what comes out at the end is something really excellent for our customers.
So, Melissa, when a project like Modern Storage Riverdale came up, what was the process for you guys from your end, from design to installation?
You know, I actually think it'll be a lot more fun if I show you.
Okay.
And now that we're here, I'd love to answer your question. So the process for turning something like this, what it was before, into this amazing storage facility takes a little bit of everybody, but it starts with a vision.
Okay.
The vision that you guys had for what a modern storage facility would be. And then working with us as a manufacturer and a contractor like Wilshire to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
And the part that we loved to play is all of this amazing hallway system with all the accessories and these amazing roll-up doors that you guys are using in a variety of different sizes to accommodate really lots of different kinds of tenants who need lots of different kinds of storage space, right?
Absolutely.
Everything from these really large roll-up doors to small roll-up doors to locker doors that are swing doors.
Yeah.
And this is really actually one of our most popular interior storage packages, which really has this glossy white finish, both for the hallway system and for the door really, really popular for these interior systems.
Absolutely. Looks really clean, sleek, you know.
Really
matching.
reflects the light, helps
Absolutely.
brighten everything up. We're seeing a lot of people really liking to use this, although not everybody does the fabulous red floors.
Yes.
But you guys do.
We did add that in. This is kind of a unique one into this location. What are some challenges that you would typically face during large scale custom orders? Is there any, you know, challenges that you faced in that?
Yeah, so coordination and communication, those are the things, not just for us as a manufacturer, but for the contractor, for you guys, making sure that everybody's on the same page and specific to this very specific unit, right? This facility, the second story, which didn't exist.
Yes, we
when
added
you
that.
guys, right? This was a single story building that
Yes.
you guys came in, did like a retrofit on everything, and then added that second story. When I went and spoke to the contractor, that created really unique challenges on timing and coordination, because there were certain things that couldn't be delivered once that concrete on the second story was poured. We all, you guys,
Yep.
Wilshire the contractor, Central States as the manufacturer, had to work very closely together to make sure that we got that all right and make sure that the install wasn't slowed at all.
Absolutely. So communication is definitely key there.
Yes.
So I know like kind of like adding that second floor and things like that. What were steps that you guys had to take to ensure that everything just laid out perfectly and fit everything into our plans?
Yeah, we have an amazing estimator team. So they do drawings, estimations, they look at what you guys are hoping to do, what the contractor is saying about the install, and then we work together, drawings go back and forth. And one of the interesting things when I was talking with the contractor, they said, you know, it's interesting because you could have a single piece that could go in multiple different places within as you're doing construction, but maybe the other piece that it could work for only goes in one place. So they said making sure that everything from the material parts to the installation highly organized, so that you don't get 2,500 pieces in and realize you're using the wrong piece in the wrong spot. Right?
Absolutely. So double, triple checking.
100%. And making sure, even our estimating team will make sure that they are available during the installation process to the contractor to make sure that if there are any questions during that whole process, that they can get them answered right away and not put 2,500 of the wrong thing in the wrong place.
We appreciate that. What makes these doors so specific, the ones that you installed here for Modern Storage Riverdale?
I'm so glad you asked. I'd love to show you. So this is part of our new Sentry line of doors and hallway systems that we just released a couple years ago. And up until we released this line, a lot of roll-up doors in the storage industry were kind of cookie cutters, right? It was just kind of the standard. So we took a lot of feedback from a lot of customers, storage developers, as well as storage contractors, and said, okay, what do you love about the industry standard roll-up door, and what do you wish was better? And so we actually made some changes to these doors. We have the heaviest bottom bar in the industry, really gives it that stability and it gives it more security. We use heavy grade material, double seaming, but really the most special part about these doors is the springs, which if you come around, you can actually see over on the sides. Unlike all of the other doors in the industry, we actually use a different grade of wire. It's ASTM A228 instead of the standard, and that is actually a music grade wire.
Okay.
Yeah, they use it for musical instruments. And what that means is that it has better tensile strength, it holds its tension better, it performs better in shear testing, and it doesn't ever have to be greased, which is a huge improvement in the industry, because really greasing those springs, it's just a normal part of maintenance that everybody feels like is just, I'm just going to have to deal with it. And even after 15,000 cycles, these still don't have to be greased.
They're still going strong.
It's incredible. So it's eliminating an entire form of annual or biannual maintenance that most storage facilities are thinking they have to do, and they simply don't have to think about it anymore.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and then I know we're right here in the middle of Arkansas, but some of our customers, right, they have units out near a coast, and this particular grade of wire has really performed way better in corrosion testing against saltwater as well. Night and day difference. It's
That
pretty
is
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so curious. like the thought process into switching and like finding that works for this.
Yeah,
you know, that is interesting.
It was really our engineering and our innovation group that went out and said, rather than make a Me Too door, right? In marketing, we talk about Me Too products.
Yeah.
Rather than make a Me Too product, what could we go out and find that actually outperforms what's on the market right now and do it in a cost-effective way, right?
Yeah.
And so why not get a better door, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons that I think people have been really, really impressed with the doors. The other thing I'll say, and that's right from a developer and people who are doing maintenance, installers really love it because we've done all of these things to make this door super easy and super fast to install. And in a world in which time is money, especially when you're talking about skilled labor, and the longer it takes to get the facility put up, the longer it takes you to start being able to, you know, get them rented out and start making money. So we've timed our doors. You can put them up faster than the other doors on the market. And
Love that.
And yeah, there's
just an extra cherry on top to everything.
Absolutely. So contractors love it, installers love it, and end users are loving it as well.
I have to ask Melissa,
Yeah.
what is your favorite part about seeing the product all finished?
My favorite part is being able to see something that we made get used by people for its end purpose, right? There's a lot of work as a manufacturer, from sourcing the steel and getting it painted and shipped to the coils, right, to the right plant. We have 13 locations, 1,300 employee owners who work for us, and they go into these plants, they go in these machines, we custom roll everything, we seam things together, and then being able to see what all of those people work together to make being used by somebody to store their things and feel secure about some of the things that are maybe the most important to them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer. So, Melissa, what trends do you see coming into the self-storage world?
You and I were talking earlier really about the larger construction industry and how some of those trends are coming into storage.
Yeah.
And one of the big ones that we're seeing has to do with more resilient products, really as a response to some of the extreme weather, some of what's happening in building codes and the insurance industry. And so we're seeing that as well, that there is a demand and customers are willing to ask for and pay for higher performing products. But one of the other ones we're seeing that's really specific to storage would be trying to maximize rentable storage space in a particular footprint. So one of the ways people are doing that is with these locker doors, right? By incorporating not just large roll-up units, but in spaces where maybe there's not room to have a large unit, to put in either a small swing door or locker doors. We're actually seeing some instances where there's simply not a footprint to expand this way. So they're going multi-story with higher ceilings, where they're having a roll-up unit and then they're putting locker doors above the roll-up unit.
Interesting.
So it's just people getting creative about how can I increase my rentable storage space without actually increasing my footprint.
Love that.
The third trend that we're really seeing has to do with security and really customer experience. But let's go up to your second story.
Good idea. Yeah, let's do it.
So here we are on your second story, which I love that you guys added to this facility. It adds so much, not only to the appearance, but also the usability. But to finish what I was saying, so security features like you guys have throughout this facility with motion sensor lighting, with the incredible cameras that you guys have, and then even some of the customer experience stuff that you guys do, like playing music in here and having such a wonderful, welcoming space downstairs. Those are really trends that we're seeing. That storage typically has been it has looked one way, it has been thought of as one way, and the experience has been kind of flat note, right? That's just kind of been, that people don't have high expectations of how they'll be treated as a storage customer. And people like Modern Storage are changing all of that. And it's really driving the industry forward to make storage something more than it used to be.
Absolutely. I feel like we need to head it in the right direction. You know,
you guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Lots of ways that we can improve as an industry, and we definitely do things a little bit different. We're taking kind of a different approach, and I'm glad to see, hopefully, that it's kind of trickling on throughout the entire industry, even just starting out from Arkansas. So
it absolutely is. Isn't that incredible? In little Arkansas, that something like that can radiate out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of, what's next for Central States as you guys look towards the future?
Absolutely. So many things. So we just keep expanding our product lines based on what customers are asking us for. Specific to our Sentry line, we're continuing to add lots of the accessories that people have been asking for. So different types of latches and locks, different types of installation kits, motorization of certain features. And so as people are saying, hey, I really love what you've done in this overall design.
Yes.
Can you also create X? Can you also give us Y? And so we're just responding to that and saying, absolutely, we can do all of that.
I love that you are taking feedback from your customers and like, what do you want to see next? And like, we can kind of improve on those things. That is awesome. I think that also just speaks volumes to being just an employee-owned company, that you are, is that you really do care and want to make, products specifically for them.
It's one of the big pieces of feedback we have gotten from storage customers specifically. They've said, maybe in the past that they've been like, this is what we have, take it or leave it, and treat it like a number.
You can get that all day long. You can find that in a million different companies.
And that instead, having, even to the point where I will tell you right now, when we first released these doors, there were some customers who used them, said, I really love this about it. I wish you could maybe tweak this. I wondered if you could change this. And the design of this door has actually evolved even over the last couple of years to incorporate feedback from the people who install it and the people who are the end users, right?
Yeah, the daily users of it.
100%.
So, Melissa, is automation or technology starting to influence manufacturing, or is steel still a hands-on craft?
So automation and technology is 100% of impacting all forms of manufacturing right now. But I will say, kind of like we were talking, like you can never replace the human touch. That the most important part of quality, whether it's a door or a panel, is the person running the machine, right? It's the actual person. And so it is, as a manufacturer, finding the things that it's best to use machines for. And letting people do the thing that they're best at.
Finding the perfect balance. We say that all the time.
100%.
Perfect balance between technology and humans is like the best approach, not having too much of one thing or too much of another. I love that. Well, before we wrap up and head back to the studio, is there any other advice or tips or things you'd like to share from Central States to our listeners?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to finding the right manufacturing partners and the right installation partners, and that you can feel really confident and comfortable with. One of the things I love about Central States is that we have the capabilities of a giant nationwide company, right? One of the largest geographic reaches, 13 different manufacturing facilities, all these panel types, all of these products, all of these colors. And yet our goal is to have hometown service, right? Nationwide capabilities, hometown service. And people really respond to that. Because there's a lot of different people that you could buy your parts from, just like there's a lot of different people that could come and install a door or a hallway. And finding those people that you want to work with for your next facility and your next project is of the utmost importance.
Yeah, well, I will say you'll have hit the ball and the mark on that, because we definitely felt the hometown feel, but I heard that those doors and hallways came from like Carolina or something, which is crazy.
The Southeast, yes,
it is amazing. It is amazing. We're happy that the product just turned out as amazing as we expected it would. But
this is an amazing facility. What you guys have built here is just world class, right here in the heart of Arkansas.
Awesome. Well, let's wrap up at the studio.
Well, thank you so much for walking us through how Riverdale just came to life. Just a few more questions before we wrap up and let you guys go. Firstly, do you ever drive by a facility and think like, yep, that is our work?
My favorite thing about that is that I know how many people on our end alone it took to make that project happen. Not to mention the design architects, not to mention the construction teams and the estimators. So when you look at a building like your facility, knowing that it took the teamwork of all of these different companies working together, right? Designers, manufacturers, project managers, to make that happen, it's a really, really good feeling.
Absolutely. It takes everybody. Not one person could fall short on that. If you had to describe a modern storage facility in just one word, what would it be?
Surprisingly beautiful. Which my favorite thing about that is that's not what lots of people think about when they think about storage. But what you guys do with storage structures is so beautiful. And I think that there's a lot of the industry that's moving in that direction. And it's really elevating the storage industry totally. And so I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do things a little different, you know? What is something that people would be surprised to learn about the work that you do?
People would be surprised to know how custom everything is, right? Everything from the design of it to the cutting of it to every single bend. That when you're ordering this kind of material, it's being custom made for you by people who are wildly experienced and care deeply about what they do.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. I figured you guys have like a big stock of this and this and this and this, but wow, so everything is custom.
Yeah, we make custom when people order it. We make what people need when they need it.
Love that. That is awesome. What is the most requested door color? I have to ask.
Yeah, it's interesting. Traditionally, it would be that kind of reddish color that you see, but we're also seeing a lot of blues and some oranges and some yellows.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are seeing kind of a trend of one-off, really unique custom colors. So people might want like a lime green set of doors, or they might want pink doors. And the truth is, while it may not be a standard color, we do have a very long list, 31 different standard colors.
Yeah.
That's all the way across the rainbow. But custom colors are also something that's capable in the industry.
If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that is planning to build a new storage facility, what would that be?
That would be to start right.
Okay.
And to actually really take the time to make sure that you have really good drawings, that you have really good industry partners, right? Like we help make this project happen, that you have the right manufacturer, you have the right architect, you have the right construction team that are all working together. And then to make sure that when you're doing estimating and design, that you're including all that little stuff on the front end, because it can cost a lot more later on to add that in. It's something that we hear feedback from customers pretty frequently say, thank you for including that. Thank you for thinking about things I didn't think about and adding that into the estimate, because it does cost more later on to add in some of the security features, some of the durability features. So,
yeah, absolutely. It takes everybody and all those parts. And if one person's kind of falling short, you really got to trust who you're using in each area.
100%.
So that is a great piece of advice. So huge thanks to you for joining us and coming all the way down and getting
so much fun.
Tour Riverdale. That was awesome.
So beautiful.
Wasn't expecting that. You guys definitely played a huge part in bringing Modern Storage Riverdale to life. So I know we're really proud of this project. I'm sure you guys are too.
Incredibly. What a beautiful project.
Yes, absolutely. It means even more knowing it was built with partners who care about quality as much as we do. So if you're in the area, stop by and check out Modern Storage Riverdale. She's officially open and ready for new tenants. Thank you guys for listening to Modern Storage Unpacked. We'll see you next time.
That's a wrap for this episode of Modern Storage Unpacked. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe. See you next time.